Hi everyone. I wanted to cover the importance of critical thinking. Critical thinking is a very important skill to engage in. It's important because whether you run your own business one day and critical thinking helps you strategize and have a better scope and pulse of your market, or just knowing how to critical think can assist you with performing at a very high level at your job, and it can also help you get promoted. It certainly did for me in my last job because my boss overheard how I was performing in terms of having to critically think on the job. One way you can critically think is to revisit your reading and ask the following questions. 1. What is the reading's overarching message? Using your confluence. 2. Are there gaps in the author's logic? If so, where? That would be your sequence. 3. How well does the author use reason and logic to build a case for his or her position, utilizing your technical reasoning? 4. Do you agree with the author's point of view? Why or why not? Using your precision. Another thing you can use is 5. What information is implied or inferred? What underpins the likelihood that the inference is correct? You can also use the SQR3 method. Survey. You skim headings and subheadings, chapter summaries, charts, and tables in the text. You question, turn headings and subreadings into questions. You recite, summarize what you learned by telling someone else or writing it down. You read to find the answers to your questions, record the answers by highlighting, underlining, and taking notes, and review. Go back and read your notes to reinforce learning and commit the information to memory. Some tips and tools and do's and don'ts for those of you that use sequence first. You do want to do the following. Move through a reading methodically. Focus on the reading's main points. Reread material that didn't stick. Look at any review or discussion questions that might be available. Use them to guide your first read-through. Don't do the following. Do not fixate on text that is confusing. Do not ignore your other patterns either. Some tips and tools and do's and don'ts for those that use precision first. Do set a timely internal or physical timer to monitor your pace when you read. Record key terms for further study. Examine sidebars or other elements that support the main point or the author's thesis. Question, challenge, and weigh the point of whatever you are reading against what you have read elsewhere. Don't miss the overarching message by concentrating solely on names, facts, and dates, or get bogged down in dense content. Break the reading into smaller, absorbable pieces so your mind can critically digest it. Some do's and don'ts for use first technical reasoning. Do explore and interact with the content. Search for interesting elements, photos, tables, headings, and feature boxes. Use all of your patterns so technical reasoning, the pattern of the fewest words, doesn't do all the work. Leverage the features of your ebook reading platform, making notes and highlighting. Don't let technical reasoning convince you that critical reading is solely about words and that precision is the only pattern required. Don't be tempted to read just a few headings. Some do's and don'ts for those that use confluence first. Do focus on a reading's overarching message or big picture. Take notes of new words and further study. Don't let confluence convince you to move too quickly through the text. Stop after a quick skim of the reading, and don't hesitate to employ your other patterns. Some do's and don'ts of critical writing. 1. Develop your own thought on a subject. 2. Another do. Express your opinion confidently and base it on multiple sources that represent a variety of perspectives. Don't be one-sided. Be arrogant or suggest there's only one or correct perspective, and be judgmental or opinionated. Make a well-reasoned case and be sure to review other items that may contradict your point as well, so that you come across as someone knowledgeable in the field. Some tips and tools for tethering use first sequence. You need to get past the idea to write your opening paragraph first and free yourself from rules that keep you grounded and plotting just right. Some tips and tools when you write for using precision first. Think of writing a tweet where you only have a limited number of words. Think of each sentence and paragraph as if you were applying for a job and only use necessary content. Some tips and tools for tethering use first technical reasoning. Follow each point with an example to drive the idea home. Some tips and tools for tethering confluence. Don't start writing until you've pinned down your focal point, and after writing your draft of your paper, draw out a map of the points you made. Also, let's talk a little bit about academic integrity. There's two types of plagiarism. One is passing off someone else's work as your own, and then there's also plagiarizing your own work, which you might be thinking, how is that even possible? But that is when you fabricate and you basically academically recycle something you previously wrote. You should really be writing original work every time. The only time academic recycling is okay is when you have your professor's permission in advance of submitting the assignment. And you want to really write original content. Some ways to make sure you do that would be to develop a topic based on what has already been said and written, but write something new and original. And rely on experts and authorities' opinions, but improve on or disagree with some of the same opinions. Give credit to previous researchers, but make your own significant contribution. Build on what you hear and read, but use your own words and your own voice. I also encourage everyone to review the diagram, figure 4.2, on whether or not you're plagiarizing, because there's some great tips and tricks and really a decision tree to make sure that you're not plagiarizing and really coming up with your own work. I hope this information has been helpful, and I look forward to seeing all of you in future discussion boards and next week. Take care.